Alright, budget magic time. Playing some mono blue Colossus in modern. And alright, this hand's pretty reasonable. Mind Stone, a counter. Thirst for knowledge to find something good. So let's just island go. There's a swamp for our opponent and passes. Well, island and Mind Stone. And a Hedron Archive. That's pretty sweet. Another swamp for our opponent and Asylum Visitor. So this is probably an 8-rack deck. Let's play Inventor's Fair. Play Hedron Archive. And pass turn. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. Opponent gets in with Asylum Visitor. Down to 17. Oh, this is, okay, a mono black aggro list. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's play Buried Ruin. And just Lodestone Golem. This means we can't Thirst for Knowledge this turn, but I think it's still fine. We still get to leave up Stoic Rebuttal because it costs 1 less because we have Metalcraft. That blocks Gatekeeper. Doesn't really block Asylum Visitor. Victim of Night. Yeah, we will counter that. Opponent gets in with Asylum Visitor. Alright, so we gain a life from Inventor's Fair. Ooh, Spatial Contortion is pretty sweet. Well, let's get in with Lodestone. And, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's just pass the turn. Leave up Spatial Contortion. Leave up Thirst for Knowledge. Opponent has a Mimic Vat. Okay. Well, if our opponent's going to Mimic Vat, let's kill Asylum Visitor before Mimic Vat comes down. And opponent passes. So let's Thirst for Knowledge. See if we can find some actual action. We'll just discard the Hedron Archive, I guess. Gain a life. Play the island. Might as well get in with Lodestone. Not super worried about our opponent putting a unkickable Gatekeeper on Mimic Vat. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's Treasure Mage. And I think we just get a Chroma's Memorial here. Get a Chroma's Memorial, which should just close the game. I don't think our opponent can beat it. And this leaves a... Well, Condescend can't really get a Thoughtseize or Address, I guess. But it does leave up a counter. Pretty sure, though, if we resolve a Chroma's Memorial, that should just be game over. I don't think the mono black deck can get it off the battlefield. And then it can't target or do anything to our creatures, so... So if our opponent's going to do something, they probably got to do it this turn. Mutilate. Well, I think we can counter that. Yeah. Condescend X2. And opponent scoops it up. Mono black aggro? Mono black something? Maybe we just run it back. That seemed to go pretty well. 1 land. I do like double Thirst for Knowledge, but... I think we got a mulligan. Just so risky if we don't draw land. Alright. Alright, there's an island. I was worried about the no colored land part of this hand. But with an island on top, this hand's pretty good. Swamp for our opponent. And blackmail. And Mind Stone, Lodestone. Opponent takes a Mind Stone. Play an island, pestered. There's a swamp for our opponent. And duress. Well, there's all the discard that we were expecting the first game but never saw. Yep, takes a Thirst. And passes. Well, Inventor's Fair. And let's just pass the turn. This lets us Condescend this turn. Yeah, we're going to Condescend Read the Bones. No reason to let our opponent draw 2. Ooh. Those are good cards. We'll put both of those on top. Colossus and a Thirst. So let's just pass the turn, plan on thirsting. Abyssal Persecutor for our opponent. We don't really have a good answer for that. Discard a Mind Stone, I guess. Play Buried Ruin, play a Lodestone, and pass turn. There's a Gatekeeper. Well, hopefully our opponent can't kill their Abyssal Persecutor. If they can kill Abyssal Persecutor, we're probably going to lose this one. Opponent gets in for 6. And I think we just got to draw. Spatial Contortion, not super exciting. I mean, I guess it kills Gatekeeper, but I don't think killing Gatekeeper is super helpful here. Opponent has Nile Spellbomb. Yep. Gets in for 8. I think this means we just gotta kill Gatekeeper. Buys us a whole extra turn before we die. We might be in this weird position where our main goal is keeping Abyssal Persecutor alive. Asylum Visitor, gonna start drawing our opponent cards before long. Ooh, well that's not bad. Dreamstone Hedron. Of course, if our opponent can kill their Abyssal Persecutor, we're dead here. There's a Swamp. Dropping to -1 on the attack. Yup. Can you kill it? Alright, Sax Nile Spellbomb. Looking for the removal spell. And they did not find it. Well, play Guardian Idol. Play Metalwork Colossus. And pass the turn. Come on, no removal spell. Alright, opponent drew a removal spell, kills Abyssal Persecutor. Well, that was a lot of discard for our opponent. We don't really have a good answer for Abyssal Persecutor, in all honesty. I guess we could bring in a couple negates for the removal spells, but they have Gatekeeper. Let's just run it back. I think we just overpower this deck. Alright, we're on the play, which is good. And this hand's pretty solid. Hopefully it doesn't get super picked apart by discard, but Mind Stone into Lodestone. Hopefully it slows our opponent down a bit. So Island, go. There's a Spellbomb for our opponent. Alright, Darksteel Citadel and Mind Stone. Ship the turn. Okay, Silent Visitor. Let's just get Lodestone out there. Slows our opponent down a little bit. If they want to spend their entire turn killing it, then, that's a removal spell out of their hand. They can't Gatekeeper it, so they'd have to use an actual spell. Opponent duresses. I'm assuming this goes after our Thirst. Although, I don't know, maybe they're scared of all his dust. That can be a pretty big blowout. They do take the Thirst. And passes. Well, let's play Treasure Mage. And I think we're just taking Dreamstone Hedron. Play Sanctum. Pass the turn. With Dreamstone Hedron, if we get that down, that's going to make all of our Colossuses super cheap. And we have a Sanctum now, so we have 2 Colossuses. And that should close out the game, hopefully. Especially since Mutilate seems to be the sweeper. And that's not going to get our Colossuses. Stoic Rebuttal is not what we were hoping for. Let's get in with our Treasure Mage. And pass the turn. Another land for our opponent. And passes. Come on, land! Alright, there's an island. So, probably safest just to get Dreamstone Hedron down. This also gives us enough mana, and I don't even think we're going to attack here. And this also gives us enough mana, because our opponent could potentially, I keep getting ahead of myself, our opponent could potentially block and then Gatekeeper to kill Lodestone, and that would not be ideal. Another Asylum Visitor, but our opponent's not empty-handed yet. Opponent cracks Nile Spellbomb. Probably looking for Duress for this All Is Dust. Another Nile Spellbomb, and passes. We draw an island. So how much is Colossus? 3 mana? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mana? Oh, jeez. Does that mean we can All Is Dust and Colossus? That seems like big game. So cast Colossus. Sack Sanctum. Get a Colossus. And then just All Is Dust. Oh, we can't? Oh, it costs one more. It's not an artifact. There, this was a bit punty. So we should have been able to leave up Stoic Rebuttal here. Well, let's see if we get punished. That was a bit of a punt. I was not taking into account our own Lodestone Golem. All this dust, while it looks colorless, it is not technically an artifact. Opponent cracks Nihil Spellbound. I am having a hard time imagining our opponent can get out of this, though. Like, just killing Metalwork Colossus yeah, our opponent scoops it up, so even with the punt, still got there against Mono Black Beatdown, aggro.